Hello, my name is Blue. I don't really know how I got here, but a butterfly picked me up. Beaten and broken, lost with no home, I asked, where is hope? The butterfly gave me shelter and introduced me to kindness. I was still wounded, but no longer beaten. I was moved and transferred a little bit. Sometimes that's the process of the broken, but trust I did. Then I met a dove. He came with a home and love. I knew he took a risk with me. I had scars and not so good looking. I later learned he saw himself in me. He understood broken, beaten, and hopeless. This home came with a yard. I met some new friends. The yard might as well have been a park. Never had a family, but I think I found one. I slowly noticed these friends were like me, underdogs and haunted by stigma. I watched many move out, or did they transfer? I had an assigned bed, but I really liked the twin beds and the cuddles. I was eating good, feeling good, and blossoming I was. Then one day, I saw the butterfly again, and the dove was there as well. It was hot that day, and I got thirsty, and water they gave me. I now live in a bigger house. I have a girlfriend named Chance. She reminds me that every day we get a second chance. I now know hope well. My only wish is to share her with you. Don't be hard on yourself, don't ask why, just trust and be kind doing it. No need to have wings to fly. My dove and butterfly friends didn't. They just had a dream that one day they could fly. It's ironic that a treatment ban with clients seen him in the condition that he was, and the lady who was driving the van, she went up to him and he immediately let her, and she's the actual hero of how all this came to be.
I kind of fought with myself for like 5 minutes because recovery has definitely taught me not to get in situations that don't pertain to me, but I think that God puts you in places when you can be used. My name is Kristen and I am an alcoholic, addict, and I have 5 years clean. I was in the work van and this lady was standing out there and I'm like, oh, Pitbull. I've had Pitbulls my whole life.
His condition was beyond words.
When I went to go look at him, I noticed his head gashed open and he had some wounds and, he looked underweight. He had missing teeth. His toe was like split in the middle. The back of his leg, they think somebody beat him with something. I really just tried to help the lady who had him. I asked the lady if she could just go take him to the animal hospital, and I gave her all my information, and I told her I would take care of it from there. It was like 12:30 at night, and I picked him up. He had a big cone on his head. The diameter of my car really wasn't working out, but we did it. He was a little scared. I gave him his own bedroom for the first few months that he was with me.
She went out of her way and, took Blue in for, that amount of time that he needed to heal, but she couldn't keep him.
I was also trying to move at the time, and when I say probably most denied, for housing, that was me. Having a background and already having pit bulls in Florida can be a little bit hard.
There are a lot of barriers in the way, particularly housing barriers. It's hard to do that with certain breeds of dogs.
And I had to make a really hard decision to try to find somebody to take him. Bringing a dog that you don't know the history and stuff like that, can be a little scary.
She reached out to another friend who took Blue in, but she lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with 2 kids already and Blue, and she came to me and asked me, Manny, would you be willing to adopt? I had second thoughts. In my own personal journey, I had some great men that came into my life and were there for me, and I think it was only right, that I take the same chance with Blue, and he won me over. Immediately brought him home. He started interacting with the guys, and he's become one of us. Blue just fills this property with love and joy. I know that when I pull in, he gets excited, runs to my truck, wants to jump in, and Blue has taught me personally a lot. From the first day that I picked him up, and I watched his condition and how loving he was even after having gone through everything that he had been through, and how willing he was to accept help and love, and gonna take you inside so that you can meet James, his caretaker. And with that being said, come on.
I wasn't seeing any light at the end of the tunnel. I moved into a home, and here's Blue. And it couldn't have been more on time, to be honest with you. I don't know if Blue ever had a solid person in his life, because he didn't know me, but yet he took to me, which was odd to me, you know, and I didn't know his story yet. I seen the scar, and I don't know, he, the first night he tried to sleep in my bed with me, and he's so darn big, and we're in these single beds, but no, for some reason he took to me. I know where to pet dogs, you know what I mean? And I believe that dogs know if you're a dog person or not, you know? I don't know if Blue's ever been part of a pack before, and I know that dogs, all they want is to be a part of a pack, you know? Once they're part of the pack, it's game over. But I had to leave Blue, and I knew that the sober home that Blue was in, the guys that knew Blue were trickling out of that home. And I didn't want him any more stressed out than whatever he's been through, because I actually asked Manny if he knew more about his story, and he doesn't. Nobody does. They just know that he was left to die, basically, you know.
I've always been a dog lover my whole life. When I was out there and lost, I had my little dog Isabella, who was out there on the streets with me. And when I wanted to give up, I couldn't, because I had her. She went wherever I did. She was there for me when I couldn't even be there for myself. She saved me. I don't think I would be here without her. Blue Waters Recovery Foundation and Blue Waters Dog Rescue. We've been in operation since 2015. We have sober living facilities for recovering addicts and alcoholics. And we also have a dog rescue, and they're fostered by the addicts and alcoholics who are in the program once they've reached a certain point in their sobriety. And we focus mostly on bully breeds. Both are so misunderstood, stereotyped, and you know, we're here to change the stigma. I was a homeless heroin addict about almost 11 years ago. I had nobody. Everybody was done with me. I got down on my knees one day and I begged God for help. I just wanted to be okay. I didn't want to be happy. Happiness wasn't even the goal at that point. Just not to be miserable and literally just want to die, but too much of encouraged to do so. So Kristen found Henry. Somebody had abused him terribly, and she called me. She had just taken him to the vet. You know, when she told me that she had found somebody for him, which was amazing. We were so happy. And then I had no idea that when Manny came here today, that Blue was actually Henry. And it's just a beautiful story, because the girl who found him was one of our managers for years. She's a successful graduate of our program, who is one of those people who moved on to live a beautiful life, and it's just come full circle.
That moment came where, I was like, man, I need to do a documentary about how pit bulls and addicts are so much alike. We both have a stigma. We're told that we won't change. That this is just how we're gonna be, and that's so far from the truth. The only difference between pit bull and an addict is, we'll kick and scream and fight all the way to recovery. And that's what makes Blue so special. He embraced the help. He took it. And, today he's a beautiful, healthy boy, full of love, loving on people. We can't go nowhere with him. And, most people, approach him and, they're like, oh, he's so sweet, he's beautiful. I remember when I first seen him, man, he was scary looking. He's got teeth missing, he's got a side grin, he's got a scar in his head. If you don't know better, you think he's a killer. And really what he is, he's a big teddy bear, like a lot of us, with past history, you know, in recovery.
We had a group of 4 dogs the other day that were confiscated from a property, and they almost all had wounds. I think 3 of the 4 had wounds that were infested with maggots. Like, I would say that is a very traumatic background for these dogs. One of them, it was on her head, like almost the full length of her head, an open wound infested with maggots. That dog is in our clinic right now. You can meet her later. She's as happy as can be here. So they're just like people. Everybody needs a little bit of different kinds of support, and we just play it by ear. We pay a lot of attention to body language, since our dogs can't talk to us and tell us what they need, and adjust our response accordingly.
Everything's about body language and body posture, and a lot of people don't understand what the dog's trying to do, because sometimes they're just frustrated. It doesn't mean that that's aggression. It just means that, hey, I'm really excited, because if you look at their tail or their body posture or their, you know, facial expression, will tell you a lot more than just what they're vocalizing, because they can be frustrated or excited, or it sometimes can be aggression. But it doesn't mean, a lot of people, they get mislabeled. Because, they're making all this noise. Today we did an introduction and there was a lot of growling and all this stuff happening because they were so ramped up and so excited to meet each other, but in the end they were fine. These guys come from really rough situations, and a lot of people don't take into account the mental aspects that they're going through when they get changed and moved, and I try to educate everyone here on those aspects so that they can understand how the animals, when rescued, they need to decompress, they need time to adjust to the situation, they don't need to be overwhelmed by, everybody, sometimes you just want to overwhelm with love. Because you're like, oh my God, this poor dog's been through so much. But sometimes they just need some time to calm down and take in what's happening to them. So they can understand and they can be accepted better. And then they're going to be better reactive to you once they realize, okay, this is okay. You know what I mean?
I would say that all of the dogs have been through trauma. Coming to an institution is traumatic. We don't really know what has happened before they got here. We do confiscate dogs quite often. We respond along with the police or the paramedics or firefighters. Different dogs handle that in different ways. I see the same sort of spectrum. There are dogs who look well cared for and they're very frustrated by being housed in a kennel, even though we do very good work here. It's just not a home, and that can be very jarring to a dog who's had a very good life.
Blue's not a runner. There are dogs that are runners. Addicts are runners. You put them in treatment, they want to run. They're there 3 days and they're healed now. They're ready to go. And I say to myself, where are you going? Half of the time they have nowhere to go. They just can't be still, except the love. Seen guys come in this home here and do the same thing. And I've seen some guys actually tell me they stayed because of Blue. It might have been just a little small dark moment in their life, and Blue came up to them and they took Blue for a walk and they forgot about that problem. Or Blue laid next to them and, cuddled up inside their blanket with them, and, that made them feel love and made them want to stay.
I feel like I built a special bond with Blue and my other dog as well. 2 weeks before I brought Blue home, my daughter's father passed away. So I don't want to say emotional support, because I feel like they are more than that, but dogs know.
Unconditional love that you can get only from a dog. Doesn't matter what's gone on. You come home and that dog sees you and that love. Had the worst day ever, but they're so happy to see you, and they don't keep a record of wrongs. They don't look at, oh, you didn't do that. No, they just want to love you, and especially staffies and bully breeds in general. Like, they just want to please their owners, and they love so much. And some people exploit that, But we want to emphasize the love and what they have to offer.
This was a pit type dog who had cropped ears. Hadn't overcome the stigma of who she was here, like a big red crop-eared pit bull. But the second somebody saw her in the right community with the right mindset, they were like, that is a beautiful dog, that is my dog. And it's all about the lens through which you see these animals. I think they should be popular with everybody. Pit bulls are real snuggle bugs. In my mind, it's the right dog for anyone, but there's definitely places where they're far more desirable, and Yamaha just had to go there to find her person.
Luna is the house mama. She's the princess of the house. You know, she's been with me 6 years. You know, it's crazy because they're the same breed, same color, different personalities. You know, Blue's a little fighter, man. He's a warrior. He struggled a lot. Luna's been bougie all her life, sleeping in beds, you know, eating steaks, burgers, and, you know, just living her best life compared to Blue. But, you know, he's had his own struggles like every man in this house comes in here. Some of them come here broken, but looking for a chance and an opportunity at life. As a person in long-term recovery myself and having, you know, have my own battles and demons, you know, I understood Blue. I understood that, you know, sometimes we can't do what we do alone. We need help. We need a push.
Even though I helped him, he really actually helped me. And that was a really hard time in my life. It makes my heart really happy that God not only, you know, found purpose for myself and other addicts and alcoholics, but like God found purpose for this dog. Having to give Blue to somebody else, knowing that he was going to have a better life, was super hard for me because selfishly, you know, I just wanted him. But to watch that, the beautiful outcome of him and how, you know, he is helping others and stuff like that, I think it's like a beautiful thing. And I'm just really happy that he got a second chance at life.
The future for Blue is for him to be an advocate for recovery, for pit bulls, obviously to join us at as many film festivals as we can possibly go to in the Florida area. We're gonna let people know, you know, there is hope, that we do change, and that love wins every time. And the ultimate goal is to not find them a good home, but to find them a great home. And when that time comes, you know, Blue will continue to be happy with a loving family. You know, I want him to have pool, you know, big backyard, vacations, you know, all of that. You know, he deserves it, man. That's the ultimate end goal and the future for Blue. But while he's with us, we're gonna raise some hell.
I love Blue so much that being it for real is not a forever thing for me. You know, this is a transition in my life. It's a new chapter for me. And I was actually going to save money and when I would put in my notice with Manny, I was going to offer him money to be able to adopt Blue because I didn't want him to say no. And I've been trying to come up with a dollar amount because I know that Blue is special, and I know that Blue is special to Manny, you know. And the other day, Manny was over, and me and Blue were outside, and I was kneeling down playing with him, and Manny kneels down, eye to eye, and my brain told me that Manny was getting ready to tell me that he had found Blue a home, you know, and I thought I was going to have to say bye to Blue again. And then he looked me in the eyes and he's like, James, he's like, you know Blue is yours now, right? And like, I already love Blue and stuff like that, and I was trying to make a connection with him, and I think something was blocking me. But in that moment with Manny, when he told me what the purpose behind the documentary was to find him a home, and that I was now Blue's owner, Blue's dad, I see it, you know. I don't know, it changed. It's there now, bro. I love him. I mean, everywhere I go, I can't go anywhere. I can walk in circles and the dog would sit there and follow me in circles. I'm serious. I think it's the coolest thing ever, man. I love him. It's nothing happens in God's world by mistake.